Greetings everyone. Father Joe the Ghetto Diplomat. Yeah, this is another version of Father Joe Driver Diary. Yeah, so I'm at another job. Just park up for a bit as I want to do this video. I don't want to be driving and doing the video. But yeah, today's shift, started at 10 o'clock. Well, I got there at 10 o'clock. The controller never came till about 11:30. No, sorry, 10:30. But I'm heading back to Fleet now. I think I'm gonna drop this trailer and then go home. Yeah, but today was a very eventful shift. I learned a few things, but then it caused me to wonder about several things. So then, key to that was why Father Joe Driver Diary. So as you know, I'm at the Source University of London doing undergrad degree in social anthropology and African studies. So from the anthropology perspective, it was a situation like this Father Joe Driver Diary. It's almost like an ethnography of what it means to be a driver in the UK logistics sector. So specifically, it's almost like an auto ethnography. So like anthropology is about what it means to be human, but more specifically, it looks at the interrelationships within any context. So the context of being a driver in the UK logistics sector, it's like, what are the things that relate to being a driver? I think one of my broadcasts, it said, asked about what people think about the whole logistics sector. I spoke about it being a professional. Being a driver is a profession because you have to do a certificate of professional competency and continued professional development every 5 years. But compared to other professions, am I living like a professional? So yeah, and there are many things that contribute to that. So like the driver experience, I think most definitely people will say that we aren't treated well as drivers in the UK. Pay ain't good. I compared it to USA and Canada. I think in the video I made a mistake. I said UK and Canada, but it's the US and Canada. After a year, you can perhaps get a decent deposit to buy a lorry of your own or a truck of your own. You can't do that in this country, So yeah, another aspect I'm looking at is the legality, the legal framework that applies to us as drivers. And I think today it kind of registered some a bit more to me, what the implications are. So basically, it's like you're on your own. You get a set of rules to comply with, and if you don't, then the penalties are sure. And one of the things is like coming as an agency driver. They send you to a site to do the work, and you're not given any briefing specifically about. And that's not across the board. I've had experiences where the controller sat me down and said, okay, don't do this at this time, do that, and that's fine. But say for instance now, doing container work, and more time you go to the wharf and you pick up a European trailer with different connections, and I'm thinking, if for me, if I wasn't that type of manually inclined person, where I could just look at something and say, okay, this fits here. My experience as training as a mechanic back in Jamaica, I'm thinking, if that wasn't the case, how would I know how to do this? They didn't brief me and say, okay, you might get this type of trailer sometimes, and whatever, and this is what you need to do. There's meant to be the special connector somewhere in the lorry, make sure you have it, or something like that, you know. I mean, like I go to Tesco's and they say, the contractor I'm working for at Tesco's, he says, make sure you have that lead to connect the trailer to the lorry, you know, not the normal electrical and brake leads, but the special one that operates like the tailgate and stuff like that. And that's fine, but like that connector, if I couldn't figure it out, and it makes me think, okay, there are things that needs to like be upgraded, especially when we're speaking about being professionals in an industry, you know. The well-being of the driver. I think this country, the driver is down at the bottom, but that's without the driver, that's the end product can't manifest, because it's once we complete our duty, then the full cycle of payment starts to accrue to whomever, you know. I mean, just for instance, the amount of different companies involved in a driver's shift. So okay, someone's shipping something, or Tesco is shipping something from Belgium to the UK. I mean, the custom broker gets something Tesco has to do, buys products and stuff like that. Okay, transporting it. So Tesco has their own lorries and stuff like that, but then the volume of work is too much that they have to bring in more. So here's the space for the subcontractor. The subcontractor has his lorry, but he doesn't have a driver. Okay, so he applies to a driving agency to get a driver. The driving agency now, so that's how many? 3 companies so far. Tesco, or 4, custom broker, even Tesco suppliers and stuff. That's 3. The owner of this lorry, that's 4 or 5. Then the agency 6. The agency now, to pay me, they're gonna say, okay, you need to interact with a payment company. And once there's a company involved in the whole process, that's money out of the whole cycle going to different ways, and the driver gets very little, you know. Standard of living is very poor. So those are the things I'm looking at in the driver Father Joe Driver Diary series. It's like the anthropology of being a driver in the UK logistics center. So there's all sorts of things that accrue, but definitely today, the not being briefed, not being prepared, not being thought about, you know, just being thrown in the deep end and expected to just swim, find your way around, you know. Going to different distribution centers and stuff like that, driving different types of lorry. That's another thing. I go to like Tesco's and some of these, and they're saying, okay, bridge strikes, lorry striking the bridges are a problem. You must check your complete vehicle height. So that's the tractor unit and the fifth wheel, how much it elevates the trailer, and that combined height to see, okay, what bridge can you go under. They're saying make sure you do it. I'm thinking along the lines, like, I look at a trailer and you have to search to find the height of the trailer. And then for the lorry itself, the height of the fifth wheel is not the same. So I'm thinking those things should be labeled, just like how you have that thing in the lorry. I'm looking at it now where the combined height of the vehicle, you're meant to put it there every time. But what are the tools that you need to use to calculate this thing? You're just saying, okay, I've written to you, you must calculate your overall vehicle height every time. But what are you giving us to measure? You know? So it's quite a few things within a legal framework that leaves us, you know, holding the shorter end of the stick, and we're just being punished with these regulations. So yeah, the different aspects of what it means to be a driver, I'm exploring it through these little shorts. Well, this is 11 minutes. This is the longest one. I mean, I wish I could be driving, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to drive and speak to you. Yeah, I want to do it safely. So yeah, those are the things. This episode definitely is about revealing why we're doing the driver series. We're saying it's an autoethnography of being a driver in the UK, and we're looking at the relationships or the interactions that we have that formulates our context, you know. And it's quite a few things, you know. And looking at how professional are you? Does your standard of living equate to being a professional? And my answer would say no. I mean, yeah, you have to. I mean, your hours of work are so regulated. You know, there's a stipulation on how long you can work. You understand? But then it's like almost you need more than one job to make it out of the poverty, or you know, or elevate your standard of living, and it's bad. So yeah, Father Joe, the Ghetto Diplomat, Driver Diary, the anthropology of being a driver, you know, in the UK Logistics Center. That was today's topic. So I hope to see you soon, and yeah, look out for the next one. Like, subscribe, share, send your comments. You know, we're definitely looking at the UK Logistics Center. We want to see the connections, the interrelationships. How does it affect the driver? Give me your comments, please. Blessed love. Until next time.